Hey everybody, it's me Stacey here at Scrapbooking Made Simple, scrapbookingmadesimple.com, and welcome to our Saturday with Stacey YouTube class number 537. Hello everybody. If you are joining me during the premiere of this class, which is every Saturday morning, 8 a.m. sunny California time, 10 a.m. Central, 11 a.m. Eastern, or 4 p.m. in the United Kingdom, well, we are live chatting right now, and we hope you join in the conversation, the fun, the community. All you have to do is post hello, and you'd be surprised how many of us will say hello right back to you. You can see the live chat going on right over here, so don't be shy. We want to meet you, honest. Always room for another crafter. So today, what do I have for you? Well, I'm so excited to be launching my collection of dye-based inks with Jacquard. I have a whole range of dye-based inks coming out over the next year or so that I hope will make your heart happy. I do. I have the first 12 colors today, along with the re-inkers to go with them. And of course, they are made by Jacquard, which means quality, quality, quality. Jacquard is known as a fine art company, and holy smokes, artichokes, they are like mad scientists when you talk about any type of an ink formulation. And so I was so honored and so blessed and lucky and humbled when they said, "Hey Stacey, would you like to have your own color palette?" And I'm like, "Oh, I would." I think so, maybe. So I'm hoping that I'm able to show and share a little bit about these inks, as they are a dye-based ink, but they do a little bit more than that. So I have that for you today. I also have new product from Sizzix, new and old. Yes, new and old, where they have taken their embossing folders, 3 existing embossing folders that you might already own, and they've paired them with a layering stencil. But then they did one brand new set for you. So if you don't have any of them, don't worry, I've got an I want it all. But if you do, you can pick and choose the ones you love. And of course, I'm going to be featuring them with my new Jacquard inks, because I am a licensed designer for both Sizzix and Jacquard. So when it came time to launch my inks, I thought that the right thing to do was to launch it with Sizzix product. None of this product is mine from Sizzix. My product doesn't launch until March 1st, but don't worry. I will be showing you all of my first launch on January 23rd in our first Take Two Tuesday event. It will be at 5 p.m. sunny California time, 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern on our YouTube channel. I'm going to show it all to you, and that way the next week, which is January 30th, when we have our official first class of making. The 23rd is the overview of what to expect, and then the 30th we get right into it. On the 30th, you're going to be able to find my product at many of your most favorite independent retailers, along with some of your most favorite online retailers for pre-order or coming soon, so you know it will be there. So much happening. I leave for Germany on Thursday, so that means that Thursday's event will be our new for you event. Yes, we're going to have it, absolutely. I just won't be able to live chat with you. I'll be on a plane. And then Saturday, our next Saturday with Stacey YouTube class, I will still be in Germany, but oh, don't worry, I'll be live chatting with you for as much as I can keep my eyes open. So much happening right now, so much happening, but oodles of excitement. Now I have winner chicken dinner, and I have 2 of you lucky ladies who have won $25 here to Scrapbooking Made Simple. Congratulations to both of you. I'm so excited for you. I'm thinking I'm thinking we may go back to giving away some prizes now. I don't know. I'm going to have to think about whether we want to keep with the gift card. Maybe that's what you have to post. That's what you have to post today for a chance to be a winner chicken dinner. Do you want to stick with the gift cards, or do you want me to do some product instead and ship you some free product, some prizes, product from what we do in that day's class? I don't know. We haven't done that since 2020 with all that happened. It was just too much for us. But maybe you'd like to have some of that too. Is it the gift card where you get to pick whatever you want, $25, shop for anything you want? Or do you want some of the new latest and greatest product? I don't know. That's a tough one. But that is what you have to post below for a chance to be a winner chicken dinner. These two lovely ladies posted last week, and I have $25 in their online account already. Are you ready? Oh, wait, my phone. Hello. Oh, hold please. Put somebody on pause. Okay. Oh, please. So my phone's on silent, but I can see it flashing. So now I've turned it to airplane mode. All right, so our first winner chicken dinner from last week, 537, and that was the global launch of Parkside Crafts. That is James Park. He is a new licensed designer for Couture Creations. His collection here sold out so fast. His next collection will be in March. And well, James Park is my eldest son, and he has been signed as a licensed designer for Couture Creations. So if you can't find his designs here, please feel free to shop around, look around, see if another independent retailer is carrying them or an online store. It is so brand new. It will grow in time. And in fact, James is traveling with me to Germany. So it'll be mom and son. We'll be on two different booths demoing our product. I think we're about 4 booths down from each other. Maybe we can do lunch together, James and I. Anyway, so grown up. Okay, so our first winner from last week, which was Parkside Crafts by James Park and Couture Creations, is Mary Lozano. Hello, Mary Lozano. There you are. You are a winner of a $25 gift card. Congratulations. It's already in your account. I'm so happy for you, Mary. And then our next winner is Celia Martinez. Hello, Celia Martinez. How are you doing? Congratulations to you as well. You also, yep, there's the check mark. You also have $25 in your online account. Well done, the both of you. Thank you for being part of the Scrapbooking Made Simple community, our Scrapbooking Made Simple peeps, and thank you for watching the YouTube featuring James. A little bit of bias here. I mean, I can't help but be proud of my eldest. And boy, this is a big thing, him going to Germany. He's never demoed before. He's so nervous. But I told him, James, just be you, and you're gonna rock it. Just be you. So, post your comment below. Keep with the gift cards or maybe do merchandise instead. You let me know, and I think we're gonna get started for today. So I am gonna show you the 12 new colors of ink. They are a dye-based ink, but with a twist to them. I don't know how else to describe them to you. I'm going to show you the colors, but then we're going to work with the Sizzix embossing folders. I'm going to be incorporating my inks all throughout this class, and of course, in future classes, and as I have more launches with Sizzix, that's when we'll pair up those launches with more inks. So we'll release maybe 4 more in my next Sizzix launch or 2 more in my next Sizzix launch until all the colors are released. And I want to say there's maybe 36 colors to go, 36 colors total. And then who knows what else I'm going to do with Jacquard. I would love Pinata alcohol inks in my own color palette. Oh, I would love that. I would love some Lumiere. I've got ideas, I do. So stay tuned. This is a brand new partnership. Well, all of it's new between Sizzix and me and Jacquard and me. So we're just gonna see where it all takes us. And I appreciate your support and all of your well wishes. So let's get started for today. I am Stacey, and this is Scrapbooking Made Simple, YouTube class number 537. 37, right? Yep, 537. All right, down we go. Oh my goodness gracious, so much happening so fast. I have to keep a book in front of me of what I'm supposed to be doing and where I'm supposed to be doing it. All right, so 12 new colors of Jacquard dye-based inks. These are their first dye-based inks that they've put out. They've had their pigment inks, and we've been doing their pigment inks, but now we have a whole assortment of dye-based inks. First 12 colors. Now, by no means is this the end of the colors. Oh no, there's a whole collection coming your way over the course of time. We're gonna do it slowly and not throw everything at you all at once. I don't agree with that. So we'll do it slowly and build the collection over time. And there they are. I have Carbon Copy, which is black. I have Blue Jay. I have Caribbean Blue, Red Delicious, Plum Crazy, Cranberry Fizz, Curry. I have trouble seeing the curry. Yellow Curry, thank you. Admiral Blue, which is kind of a mix of a color. It's kind of purpley, it's kind of bluey. It depends upon what you put it with. Wasabi, Teal Deal, Orange Pop, and Dark Chocolate. Now, I left the naming of these to the SMS girls. And I think they were kind of hungry when they named them. Between Cranberry Fizz and Red Delish and Plum Crazy and Wasabi and Orange Pop, I think it might have been lunchtime. So here are the 12 colors. And yes, of course, we have the coordinating re-inkers for you as well. And yes, there's an I Want It All bundle for this, an I Want It All bundle for that, and included with this I Want It All bundle, because I'm going to be using it a little bit later, is a Sizzix clear embossing powder. You're like, embossing powder? But she said dye-based inks. Oh, I did, didn't I? But wait. Told you they're a little different. So now, if you have dye-based inks, do you absolutely have to have these? Of course not. And everybody's dye-based inks are formulated a little bit different. So what mine do, another dye-based ink might not. But if you are just stamping or blending with them, you're gonna buy, you buy the color you love, not necessarily it has to be the brand. It's what makes your heart happy. So being that I have got so much coming out with Sizzix, it just seemed the right thing to do to pair it up with one of the best fine art companies around, been established for years and years and years. And if I'm gonna partner with somebody, I wanna partner with the best. And gosh, Asher at Jacquard, what they do with ink it's just incredible, but more on that later. So I'm going to talk about the Sizzix embossing folders, and this is the newest one. This one just released. It is a 3D embossing folder, and they made a coordinating layering stencil to go with. Coordinating layering stencil to go with. So this is the newest of the sets. But we also have an older embossing folder. Actually, we have a couple of them. This is their hearts. I don't know if you can see it. And this has been out for a while. You may already own this. But now, to elevate it, to freshen it up, to make it new again, they have a brand new layering, I want to say 3D. This is the 3D embossing folder, a brand new layering stencil that coordinates. That means these two will work together. That's not the only one that they have. I have another existing embossing folder, 3D, that they've had, and you may already own this or not. And then I have the beautiful layering stencil. Now these stencils can be used all by themselves. You don't have to use the embossing folder with it at all. This is its item all by itself and is pretty magnificent just on its own. This is a pretty magnificent brand new item just on its own. It's up to you if you want to pair them together. And then the last one I have, again, an existing embossing folder. You may already own it, but they just launched the coordinating layering stencil. Now, isn't that just lovely? They all are beautiful. And I like the fact that they can stand on their own. They're a crafting element on their own. And yet, you can pair them to make them more than what they started with on their own. And because it's a layering stencil, you get to pick and choose which layers you want to do, or you can do all 4 layers on top of the embossing folder. So oodles of fun with all of this. And I am going to start with 2 of the embossing folders. I'm going to work with 2 of them today, not all 4. And I'm going to roll them through just on white paper. We're going to start at the very beginning, which is a very, very good place to start. I want to assume that some of you have never seen an embossing folder before. So I'm going to roll these through pretty quickly. I didn't do Winner, Winner, Chicken Dinner Dance. What was I thinking? Well, what I'm thinking is that I'm very nervous. That's what I'm thinking. I didn't do Winner, Winner, Chicken Dinner Dance. We cannot move forward without that. Yes, I'm a little bit nervous with so much going on, and with this new collection of ink from Jacquard, I just want to get it right. And I don't edit, and I'm not scripted, and I don't voice over or dub. I also don't add commercials. Wahoo kachoo. No monetizing here. But we can't not have Winner, Winner, Chicken Dinner Dance. Hold on. I feel like I shorted you, Mary and Celia. I feel like I shorted you. Okay, Winner, Winner, hello. Let's see, yes, there, and there. Congratulations. Now we have to do Winner, Winner, Chicken Dinner Dance. You're a winner, chicken dinner. You're a winner, chicken dinner. Wahoo, kachoo, for you. Congratulations to both of you. Your $25 is already in your online account. Go spend it any way that makes your heart happy. And I am so sorry I forgot. But then I remembered. So people are like, oh yeah, I don't know if I can put up with this girl for 2 hours. But you know what? We have fun. And it is a teachable moment class. So now I'm going to tilt back down and we're going to get back down to class. Okay. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. Well, for me, it was funny. For you, I don't know. It just dawned on me. Hey, wait. Okay, so I have got 2 embossing folders. I've got the hearts and I have got the brand new embossing folder that they are calling, oh, if they could just, Defined Petals is what this one is called. And you may already own this one. This is it Mark Making Hearts? Okay, whatever makes their heart happy. So I've got both of them here, and I'm just going to do them out of white paper, just so you can see how embossing folders work. These are 3D, which means that the dimension is going to be deeper than a 2D embossing folder. Ellison Sizzix no longer sells 2D. They only do 3D. You can see how super thick it is. I'm going to put my paper in. Oh, probably too much paper. Can I get away going this way? Nope, but not enough paper. All right, well, we'll just make it work. So I've got the indexed portion, which has the design facing me. I have the Sizzix logo facing me, and I'm going to put it through my Big Shot machine. Now my Big Shot machine is meant to do all types of embossing folders, oodles of different embossing folders. But this is a 3D embossing folder, which makes it special because it is thicker than all other embossing folders. And you get the base platform with your machine, and it tells you exactly how to do a 3D embossing folder, which is your base platform, your 3D embossing folder, and I like to do the chomp, chomp, chomp. So I like to have the open side going in first. That's just me. Lots of people do it different ways. I've never had a problem with the pressure or anything like that. I just like the chomp, chomp, chomp going in first, and you send it through. It's gonna grab that folder, and it's a pretty easy, let me see if I can go back just a little bit. It's a pretty easy roll. So this is gonna go through your switch machine, your Vagabond, your Big Shot, your Big Kick, your Fold Away, your Big Shot Plus, your Big Shot Pro. And there we go. That's all it is. It's just one roll. And with that, I get that. I can take a simple piece of paper and turn it into something magnificent. White on white, it's deep. You can feel the dimension in it. It's just beautiful. So let's do the hearts, because I want to have a couple. Well, we'll just keep going until I get what I need. So I'm going to do the hearts again, my paper in. The side that has the printing and the name is always facing you. That's your upside. That means if I had a patterned piece of paper here and I wanted to make sure that the embossing was up, that the pattern piece that I wanted to put on my card went on my card properly, was in the folder properly, you want to make sure it's always facing up and that it's what you can see through when you have the side that has the name. I don't want to have, if this was a patterned piece of paper, okay, so let's just do, if this was a patterned piece of paper and I wanted this design to emboss, I would put it in with the pattern piece facing me. If I do it this way, then it's going to be more of a debossed side, and I wanted it to be embossed. So it goes, pattern goes this way. Or if this was a double-sided sheet of cardstock and this was all red, and white on the back side, and I wanted the embossing to be on the red side, I would put it in this way. We'll do that maybe in just a moment. Let me cut another piece of paper. And let's go ahead and just send it through, just like I did the petals. Bring it over. My sandwich is my embossing folder straight to my base plate. You don't have to worry, oh, I want to go chomp, chomp, chomp. You don't have to worry about it hurting your base plate because it's not die cutting anything. The embossing folder is flat, it's smooth, it's gonna sail right on through. And I do my chomp, chomp, chomp first. And now I have a beautifully embossed piece of paper. And you can do this on any colored cardstock you want. It can be just that simple. Cut it out, put it onto your card base, put a sentiment on it, and call it done. Cut it out, mat an image onto it, put it into your scrapbook, and it's done. It doesn't have to be any more than that. But of course, it can be more than that. So there I've got two. Let's see if I put them there, if I lose them. Chances are yes. And I think real quick I will take a piece of paper and my ink. So let's just grab the Red Delish. And I'm just going to ink up my paper just so you can see what I'm talking about if something was double-sided. Okay, Red Delish. Can you see why we called it that? I'm telling you, I think it was lunchtime at SMS when we named these. Wipe it down. It is water soluble and water reactive. And so I've got it ready to go. Now, these are done with a felt pad, not with a foam pad. There are other dye-based inks out on the market, and one is not better than the other. They're just different. The foam pad holds the ink differently and applies the ink and lays it down differently. There's also something called a foam pad. So this is a felt pad. A foam pad is often used with pigment-based inks, but then there are companies that have a hard foam pad that and it's a dye-based ink, when you put it down, it almost like sticks to the paper. It gives off so much ink so fast, and it almost sticks to the paper. It's not it's just different. One is not better than the other. I like the felt because I have the opportunity to color if I want. I have the opportunity to blend if I want. And it's not, when you put it down, if this was a hard foam pad as opposed to a felt pad and I sat it down, literally, when I pick it up, it would be a complete image of this. It just delivers the ink differently. Not that one is better than the other. They are just different. So I've got my ink here, and as you can see, it's almost like having a double-sided piece of paper. So if I wanted my image to come up, if I wanted the red to be what I see on my finished project, that's what I put in facing up. And then let's send it on through. Nope, chomp side first. Roll it through, easy peasy. See, chomp, 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 chomp. And now I've got my embossing on it. Can you see? You can even see that it's so high that it leaves a shadow. Yay! Now what am I going to do with this? I have no idea, but I will keep it as part of my sample to do something with later. So I wanted to show you just plain embossing on white paper. You do need to have a die cutting machine. It does have to be a die cutting machine that will allow you to do 3D folders. Not all of them will. We have always carried the Sizzix Big Shot machine. We're known for it. It's just a workhorse, and it just makes my heart happy. So now I'm going to take them and do the next thing, which many of you have already seen. But like I said, I really want to try and establish this cement this as a teachable moment for people who are just getting into the crafting world, who maybe this is the first time they're ever watching a YouTube. What is sticking? Something is sticking. Oh, right there. That's going to drive me crazy. Okay, I'm going to get that off later. But I'm like, what in the heck is sticking? Oh, I could take a little bit of embossing powder, I bet. Since I don't have anything to get that off right now and it's driving me crazy, take a little bit of embossing powder and rub it on my sticky. And now maybe it won't be sticky anymore. Sizzix is like, are you kidding me? She's using our embossing powder for that? Are you serious right now? Oh, but I am. And it works. Okay, so I've got a piece of white paper. I'm gonna ink up my embossing folder this time because, again, I know several of you may have seen this already, but I want to assume that there's people out there who have never seen anything like this before. And I think I'm going to take maybe my Blue Jay, and I'm going to ink up both sides of my embossing folder because I'm a girl who likes options. And I'm just gonna rub it all over. Flip it around and do this side too. Make sure I lay down plenty of ink because you just never know what side you're going to like better. And, well, paper does have two sides. All right, I'm gonna put my paper right into it. Close it up. And then I'm gonna bring over my machine and send it on through. Now, because it is a dye-based ink, my embossing folder is gonna clean up with a baby wipe. Send it on through. Can you bring it back? If you want to. I mean, if you really feel the need to bring it back, you can. Let's see what we get. So one side. I think it still has some ink that I had from an earlier one. One side. So pretty, right? And then the other side. Now you get the option of deciding which side works for you. What side makes your heart happy? And all I have to do, take a baby wipe. Come on in. I have a feeling the girls use these to make samples. And clean it up. Now you decide which side you like better. Are you all about this side? Let's just trim it on out. So which side makes your heart happier? The beautiful thing is you get to choose. You can have either side. Whichever side you tape down, nobody's gonna know what was underneath. But by not inking both sides, you're kind of leaving yourself with less options. Why not just ink both and have both to decide what to do with? Let's ink up the hearts. And let's use some cranberry fizz and see what we get. Oh, I might have gone too much ink. I bet I went too much, but let's see. I was really rough in there. All right, let's give it a whirl. Right now it's only paper. That's what we're working with, just paper. So if I don't like it, I can do it again. Bring over my machine, chomp chomp first. Rolls through like butter. Yeah, maybe a little bit too much. Maybe a little too much on that side. Oh, but very pretty on this side. Really pretty on this side. Maybe a little too much on that one. Let's try one more time. Maybe I'll do a little less ink on that one side. Let's clean it, and I will use a different color. I probably could have misted this and put some more paper in it and try it again just to use up the excess ink. And a paper towel. All right, well, let's give it a try. And this time, let's pick a different ink. Let's maybe try Plum Crazy. And I won't do as much as I did. A little lighter with my touch. And the other side. And then let's get my paper and see what we've got. So far we're just using white paper. So easy peasy. And I always recommend when you do get your embossing folders to go ahead and ink them both sides, even if it's in an ink you don't care about. That way, when it's time for you, if you want to do that, you can look and see, oh yeah, this is what it looks like when it's inked. You're kind of making your own swatch. Oh, nope, chomp, chomp, see? Chomp, chomp always works better for me. Now, can you use a StazOn to do this? No, StazOn does just that. It stays on. It's a permanent ink. So if you were to ink up your embossing folder with it, it would dry because StazOn's kind of like a Sharpie or a Bic pen, where if you want to write on metal or glass or plastic, that's what you go get. Oh, cute. Okay, that's better. Super cute, right? I was a little lighter with my ink. So inking them up. Done. Running them through just on their own. Done. Running them through if you have a double-sided paper, because I made my own. Done. So those are some of the more simpler basic techniques using embossing folders. Let's clean this one up. Got some water going on. I don't need to use hand sanitizer. And if I really want to be sure, I can run a piece of paper through to make sure all the color's off. Just get a yucky piece of paper, maybe a piece of paper out of a kit that you didn't want to use, just to make sure all the ink is off. Okay. So a couple easy ways to use embossing folders. Now before we move, no, I think we will. We'll move on. Let me get some more paper. So then we're going to go into the stenciling. And I'm going to start with the newest one. And now the stencil can be used all on its own or with the embossing folder. And so I'm going to stencil first, just showing you how the stencil is used and what it looks like all by itself. because maybe you don't have a big shot machine. Maybe you're not a die cutter. Maybe you just love stencils. Well, here you go. It is a 4-layer stencil. 1, 2, 3, 4. You can use just one portion of it. You can use 2 portions of it. You can use 3, 4. You can mix and match. And when it's done, it's beautiful. Now I'm going to be using let's put that over there. I'm going to be using the stencil and stamp tool today. And this is from Sizzix. We do still have it on sale. This is a tool that I was very meh about. I mean, I couldn't have been more thank you next than I was just not crazy about it. And the reason I wasn't crazy about it is because I didn't know how to use it. I thought I was shown, I thought I knew what I was doing, but apparently I did not. Not only is this a stencil tool, it is a stamp positioner. But that's the bonus of this. The stamp positioner is the added value. What really makes this unique and different than anybody else's is the availability to stencil beautifully every time, especially if you have layering stencils. So I'm going to pop that lid off. Did you see how easy that just came right off? And I'm going to put that to the side because today I'm not going to use it. When I'm using this as a stencil tool, I'm only using the base. And the base has got foam. Somebody was asking, when you use it as a stamp positioner, you know, does it gush? Well, because it's got that extra foam underneath, oh, it's just lovely. Now this little green thing is an adapter. It is an alignment tool. I think they call it an adapter. I call it an alignment tool. You're going to use this every time you use a stencil. And you can use anybody's stencils. It doesn't have to be Sizzix. Yes, Sizzix puts the holes in the top for you. Absolutely. But if you go back, I think it's YouTube number 534. 534 is the do's and don'ts on this machine. It is a this tool. It is a comprehensive class on how to use this tool. The do's and the don'ts. One of the first don'ts is that you see these 2 little nibs at the top and you think instinctively, oh, look it, I've got stencils that have holes in them. Do I put them in those 2 little holes at the top? Look, they fit. No, you don't. No matter what you do, no matter whose stencil you use, and they do have adapters that will allow you to use everybody else's stencils. Those 2 little holes at the top, those are only to hold your alignment tool in place. That's it. That's the whole point of those 2 little holes. The machine comes with the alignment tool. It comes with a piece of sticky grid. This is an A4 size piece of sticky grid. This is the one that I have been using all throughout. It is still sticky. Still sticky. I'm still going to use it today. But we do have, and you can get replacements. Eventually, yes, you're going to have to replace it. The stick will eventually go. But they have replacement sheets, and you just lay it down, easy to do. The sticky grid is not meant to hold your stencil. It's meant to hold your paper. And the alignment tool is what allows you to layer so simply, so effectively, so precisely. Amazing, really it is. Once I learned that this is a no-go, then I was all better. And you're like, well, why can't you do it from up there? Well, those little nibs are shorter and not as round as the nibs on the alignment tool. In fact, when you put your stencil, regardless if it's with the adapter so that you can make anybody's stencils work with this, or their Sizzix stencils, when you put it down, you almost hear them click into place. Up here, they're shorter and they're not as round. So your stencil can tend to fly off. It can tend to move around because it's not stable like it is on the alignment tool. You can move this anywhere you want. Again, I encourage you to go back to, I think, YouTube number 540, the do's and don'ts of the stencil and stamp platform. You can move this up and down. You can move it around. You can take a stencil that is not meant to be an all-over stencil and make it an all-over stencil because you have so many different options. I'm going to put down my paper, and I'm just going to kind of put it in place. And then I'm going to take my first stencil, and they are numbered. Not only does it have the Sizzix name at the top, it has the SKU number right next to it and the position, number 1. Then if you go to stencil number 2, same thing, Sizzix at the top, it has the SKU number, position number 2. What's handy about that is if you get your stencils kind of messed up, you've been busy, you've been crafting, you've been having way too much fun, and then you're like, oh my gosh, I've got 18 or 12 different layers or 6 different layers, whatever out here. How do I know what matches what? Because it has the SKU number on the top of all of them. You just look for the SKU number and match the SKU numbers together, and you put your set back together again. So I'm going to take my alignment tool. I'm going to put it, I tend to start right about there, although it looks like I can maybe start somewhere around here. I've got it down. I've got my stencil, Sizzix side up, number 1 in place. And you can almost hear them kind of pop in, and you really put it down. Now, the sticky grid is holding my paper. The alignment tool has aligned my stencil up, and I'm just going to keep my hand kind of here, just as intuitively as I would if I was stenciling without this. And then I'm going to come in with a color. I don't know what color, but I'm going to come in with a color. Let's go light blue. Let's go light blue. I am going to grab my little blending mat from Woodware. And I'm going to keep that handy. So my blending mat allows me to kind of take some ink off so I can lighten my color. But see, if I move this up just a little bit, if I move this in my paper up, I've got room for my blending mat too. So I'm just going to move this right on up and put my paper right on down underneath it. Give a good press, because now the sticky grid is holding my paper in place, so I don't have to hold my paper. It's done. And then I've got my little blending. So I've got my Caribbean blue, and I'm going to kind of tap off. I kind of want it to be soft. So I'm just going to come in and add my color. I'm just going soft. You're like, you don't see any color. I know, but when I pick it up, you will. And this is one of the keys of this tool. This is what makes it fabulous. Typically, I would have taped this down. And if I wanted to see what was underneath, I'd have to untape it and then realign it. With the tool, I just pick this up, and I can see where my stencil is. What I've done. Do I want to go a little darker somewhere? I don't know, maybe. But if I do, all I have to do is put this back in the same position it is over here. Nope, that wasn't it. Yep, that's it. And it has realigned itself automatically. I don't have to worry about whether I have washi tape and I can get them repositioned back in. It's very nice. If you are not, you think you're not an awesome stenciler, well, this is going to take care of that problem, because now I can pick it back up. I can look at it. I can see that my image is a little darker. Am I happy with that? I think I am. I'm going to pop off my first stencil. And then bring over stencil number 2. Put it right back into place where it was. Pop on my stencil number 2. And magically, it's going to mask off everything I did with stencil number 1. You don't see any ink. All you see is white paper. It's funny, in my little tiny viewfinder, it almost looks like they're boxes, but interesting. Okay, so now I can go with a different color. Do I want to do something darker? I can. Do I just want to go darker in my Caribbean blue and not dust anything off and just go in there and really get it a little darker? And you can see I'm holding it down because this is an alignment tool. My paper's fine. My paper's being held by sticky grid. And I'm just coming in and adding my color. Now this is using the stencil all by itself. Remember, there's an embossing folder to go with it. I just want you to see what the stencil looks like all by itself, just in case maybe that's who you are. Maybe you are mixed media and altered art, and you don't really use embossing folders that much, but you use stencils all the time. Or maybe you are big into embossing folders, never really stenciled before, but like the idea that you are going to be able to color that embossing folder precisely. There's no guesswork because you have the stencil to go with it. You think that's dark enough? So alignment tool, not hold in place tool, alignment tool. Pick it up. Yeah, I think that's okay. Okay, let's go to number 3. And my stencil number 1, my stencil number 2, stencil number 3, pop it down, and now I'm going to go much darker. Much darker. So let's change our ink and let's go into our Blue Jay. And I'm just going to go straight from the pad on in because I want that full saturation. I want that full intensity of color. When I tap off the color, I'm tapping down the saturation of it. I'm toning it down. And that's when I'm using my little blending tool. If I tap off the color on my little blending sheet, I'm toning down the saturation. But when I go straight from my ink pad in, I want full saturation. And now I'm able to pick it up and see what I've done. Do I need to go anywhere else? I don't think so. Maybe a little bit over on that one. Lay it back down. Maybe just a little bit more here. A little bit darker. Pick it back up and see, it lines up every single time. Now, last thing is my last stencil. And do we want to keep it the same color? Or do we want to do a different color? You think I'll ruin it if I do a brown? Or maybe the teal? Well, you know, I could do teal, and if I don't like it, I can do brown. That works for me. I'm gonna do it. And if I don't like it, I can do brown. So I've got my stencil ready to go. It's all aligned up. Oh, I like the teal. Okay, we'll keep with the teal. Now, whenever have you ever been able to do that with a stencil where you're like, oh yeah, I like that color, I'll keep with it, and then just keep on going without having to realign anything? Full intensity. I just want to go in there and get some good color. And if I want to look at it, I just lift it up. Done. How pretty is that, right? That's just lovely. It's got that super soft blue background, then a little darker blue for the petals, and then a darker blue for the accents and kind of a teal on there too. Lovely. All right, let's do super fast because now you understand how the tool works. And again, there's a whole class. If you want the ins and the outs, the yeses and the nos, the whys and the what fors on this tool, YouTube number, gosh, I do hope it's through 534. I really do. And that way you make an informed decision if this is something you need to add to your crafty arsenal. It might not be, but it could be. All right, so let's take out the hearts because I'm going to work with that. I've been working with that embossing folder. And let's just wash, rinse, and repeat. So put my alignment tool up here. Put my paper, I like to put my paper right up to the edge of the alignment tool. I've got my Sizzix stencils marked 1, 2, 3, and 4. I'm going to start with number 1. Did you hear it kind of click into place? Give a press just to make sure my paper's down. It's nice with the sticky grid that your paper doesn't move, but the sticky grid is not meant to hold your stencil. It's meant to hold your paper. And let's do cranberry fizz or red delish. Okay, let's do red delish, and we'll just start it really, really light. We'll go really light with it. So I'm tapping some off because I want these hearts just to be really light in color. So I'm lightening up that saturation. The less ink I use, the lighter the color is. The color stays true, it just doesn't have that deep saturation. And can you see I'm just pulling my color right off and using it? So this is a blending tool from Woodware, and it's actually the size of a A4. It's the size of this right here. And I've just cut them down to sizes that I can work with. I have a 6x6 size and half of a sheet, and they're so inexpensive. I think on sale they're like $4.40. I don't know that we have them on sale right now, but even then it's like $5.99 or something like that. And for what they do, it's brilliant. Okay, so I think I've got my first one. Pretty easy layer. Pop it up. And there I go. Now I come into my second layer. Layer number 2. Put it down. And this time I'm going to go a little darker because this doesn't necessarily mask everything. So with this stencil, I want to start with my lightest colors and build my color up. Because can you see right here? This is on top, this is open. So the next color I put on top of it is going to go into that color. So you could change your colors, perhaps maybe do like a light purple, but I'm just going to intensify my color just a little bit. So I'm always going to start a little bit light because I can then add color. And I'm just going to intensify my color just a little bit. And because I'm using the same color, I know that it's going to look beautiful because it's now it's a tone on tone look. So I'm still not going full strength on my red delish. I'm going partial. And I'm picking up all that extra ink. And let's get some color in here. Now I'm not trying to have it all the exact same shade. I want some highs and some lows. I just want everything to be a little darker than the original hearts that I did that are almost they're a pink. All right, I think that I'm about done. And I can pick it up and I can see what I've got. Oh, I like it. Okay, moving on. Put it back down where it belongs. Pop it right on off. And let's get our next stencil, stencil number 3. Now again, this one layers on top of some of the other stencil, what I've already done. It's masking some and it's allowing me to stencil some. And this time I am gonna try and go in and really kind of add a good saturation of red. Oh, see? Hello, red. How you doing? I want a good saturation of red. Look at that. So right now I've only used one color of ink. And by toning it, I've given myself options. Hello, beautiful. The hearts. And no, these are not my designs. My Sizzix designs come out soon. You'll be able to pre-order them at most independent retailers that are carrying them starting January 30th and at several online stores as well. All right. One ink pad. Yay. Now I have one. I could be done. I could be done. I could be done right here and call it finished. But I do have one last stencil to do. And I am gonna change my color. And I'm gonna go into that Admiral Blue, which has a purple hue to it, depending on what you use it with. I've got my stencil number 4. I click it in place, click and click, give a good press, press down, and Admiral Blue. And can you see it's got my name on it? I'm so excited about that. So let's see what I get. So it's not a true purple, but it's not a true blue either. Depending on what you pair this color with, it kind of morphs in to whatever you need it to be. Now we'll see how I do. See if this combination is yay, or you're like, I don't know, but it's only white paper. And you saw how easy it was. You want to see what it looks like? Oh, lift it up! If you want it, oh my gosh, I'm so happy. If you want it darker somewhere, put it back down. If you need to go back and adjust any of the other colors of any of the other stencils, you just put it back in its original place and pop this one off and go get the color, the stencil that you need. Okay, I am not angry at this. How cute is that? 2 ink pads. I like the contrast. Oh, makes my heart happy. Okay, so now we've done 2 stencils. The same 2 stencils we have the 2 embossing folders for. Now let's go ahead and let's grab those embossing folders one more time. I'm going to move this out of my way right now. I'm going to grab those embossing folders, 1, 2. I'm going to put a piece of white paper in there. I'm going to send them through one more time. And then we're going to stencil over the top of them. Chomp, chomp, chomp first. Hopefully I cleaned it well enough, and if not, we're just going to go for it. Send it on through. Oh, it's got a little blue to it, but we're going to do a little blue, so I'm going to be okay with it. And then my heart. Chomp, chomp, chomp. So I have both of them embossed. Now I can bring back over my stencil and stamp positioner. Let's put my first one down. I'm gonna butt it right on up. And now let's bring over my stencils again. And I'm just gonna go with the blue since I've already started. And let's start with stencil number 1. And there it is. Now all I have to do is line it up. Now my stencil starts lower than my embossing folder. So I'm going to have to move my paper down. When I was just stenciling, my paper went all the way to the top. I just butt it right on up because it was just white paper. But because I'm using an embossing folder, the embossing folder doesn't have the same depth to where the image actually starts. The embossing folder, the image starts all the way at the top. There's not that extra header space, that extra liner right here where it is on the stencil. So you can't take your embossing folder and put it all the way to the top because it's not going to line up. You have to move your paper down to where the stencil fits the embossing folder. So as I was before, when I was doing this with just paper and the stencil, I could butt my paper all the way up. But here I need to work towards the stencil. So if I put the stencil in, and then I grab my paper, because I haven't pushed it down yet, and I kind of bring it down and find where there it is, there's my alignment. I think that looks pretty good. And then I push down. So my paper is actually all the way down here. In fact, maybe I need to move it just a little bit up on that one. That looks better. Push down, make sure my paper is being held by my sticky grid. And again, eventually I'm gonna have to replace it, but not yet. And then let's start. And maybe this time we do the light teal. Maybe we do the teal. And do I want to try it with a dark teal background? I don't know. Let's see about doing kind of a darker background. Now I'm not pressing down so hard that I lose my 3D look. And again, I'm going to have to hold my stencil in place. I'm going to have to give it a little help because this is an alignment tool. Not a I'm holding your stencil in place so it stays perfectly in place. It's an alignment tool, which means, yeah, you got to hold me in place a little bit, but when you pick me up and you put your next stencil down, I'm going to be perfect. See, now I can pick it up. Oh, you're like, wait, what? Well, let me add a little more color. In fact, let me add a little more color. Let's be bold. We have these beautiful jewel tones. Let's be rich with them. Let me tell you, it was hard to pick colors for ink. Anybody own a Pantone book? Holy smokes, artichokes. You can get lost inside a Pantone book. Pick it up. Now you can see the embossing and the ink. Now I could be done just like that. I could just be done and finish. But I still have 4 more stencils to go that line up with the embossing folder. And see, I put it right back where it was. I popped this right off. My paper stays right in place. And let's go to stencil. Do we want to do stencil number 2? Do we want to do stencil number 2? Stencil number 2 is going to color, well, how about we do half and half? That way you can see, you don't have to do everything. What do I want to do for my color on top? how about maybe a little like orange? I think maybe, I don't know, let's try. So this is orange pop, and I'm gonna do just half of my stencil and leave the other half alone. Just do half and leave the other half alone so you will be able to see the difference. So now I take it off, and that's what I've got, white or orange, all on a 3D embossing folder. All right, let's move on. I've got stencil number 3 to do. Put this right back where it was. My paper has not moved. I've been holding it up and moving it around. Let's do stencil number 3. And I have not cleaned these, but I'm gonna go for it anyway. I don't know if I wanna do blue. Maybe I want to do brown. Now I'm going to do half. Well, I'll do all of it in brown. I'll do all of it. You're like, but you didn't clean your stencil. I know, but the brown is darker than the blue. So the blue will get absorbed by the brown. Hold it here so it doesn't. I think one of the misconceptions about this tool is that you put it down and you don't have to hold the stencil. You do. What you don't have to do is worry about lining it up every time, even if all you want to do is pick it up. I'm loving it. Picking it up to see what you got. Okay, there's still one more stencil to go. Do I finish with the brown? Do I do a lighter brown maybe? Like tap off my brown and have a lighter brown? Or maybe I do a lighter brown here and, oh, and the teal there. Okay, let's do that. Let's mix it up. So I'm gonna tap off my brown. Just so I have maybe a soft brown on this last one. And if I don't like it, I can come back and darken it up. I've got that option. So a felt pad holds the ink a little differently than a foam pad. I'm all about the foam pads are great. I want to see, I got something right there. The foam pads are great for a pigment-based ink. And I like a felt pad for a dye-based ink. But there is no right and there is no wrong. Okay, so I did that. Let's see if I like it. Oh, I do like it with the softer brown. But over here, I'm going to go back in with that teal. So I'm just showing you the options that you have. Not that you have to do the color combinations I'm doing. I'm just trying to give you an idea of how it can be done. What you can, well, this is not orange, this is orange. What you can do and versus thinking what it will only do. I could have stopped at the very first stencil and been done. So I want it seriously saturated. I'm going to go in and kind of blend it into the browns up there, just so it almost has like a little ombre effect to it, even though we go straight into white. Now, what if I came back, and I am still on an embossing folder. What if I came back to my orange and just gently, ever so gently, added just a little bit of orange. Almost to where it ombres all the way down. All on a 3D beautiful embossing folder. Talk about depth and dimension and versatility. So to have one is amazing, whether it be the embossing folder or the stencil. You have wonderful options with either of them. To have both though, wow. And you've got the 3D popping up. You can hear and feel the texture of it. Love, love, love. Let me tell you how I really feel. So then we also have, put that over there, I also have my heart, which I got some ink on. Well, that's okay. We're gonna ink it anyway. So let's see what I do with my heart. So let's find stencil number 1, which was the big one, open one. Stencil number 1. And remember, I've got extra space here that I do not have on my embossing folder. The embossing folder would have to be this much bigger to align so that the embossing folder would have to be the same size as the stencil so that you could just shove your paper right up to the top. But it's not, and this is an existing embossing folder. The one I just did, this is a brand new stencil and embossing folder. So I'm gonna put my stencil down, and then I'm gonna take my paper and I'm going to find the alignment. Okay, right there. I think I'm fairly close. And I'm just gonna go for it. Get my paper down. That's all I'm trying to do is put my paper down and push my stencil into place. It feels good. And then maybe we try, do we keep with the same colors? They were awful cute. But maybe we try a little different. I know it's pink. I'm testing my colors. So I'm gonna stay with, I'm gonna go a little bit of red. Ooh, hello. I'm gonna tap it off because I wanna keep that saturation really light, super light. I haven't dipped in to get more ink. I've got plenty here. So let's see what I've got. Lift it up. Yay! Put it back down and let's do our next stencil. So let's find stencil number 2, which is this one. And I think actually I'm gonna do cranberry fizz, maybe? Or plum crazy? Maybe a plum crazy, a light plum crazy? I don't know. It's just paper. Go for it, Stacey. Thank you. Sometimes I need to remind myself it's only paper. I think I probably should have gone with the pink. Oh well. You just never know what it's going to look like until you know what it looks like. Oh, it's okay. I shouldn't be so hard on myself. I think it's okay. Now maybe I come in with the next stencil. And this is number 3. Yes, and line it on up. And I think I'm going to keep with my plum crazy, and I'm going to come back much more saturated. Look at how easy is this. And then I can lift it up and I can see, do I like it? I do like it. I do. And I think I'm okay with the saturation. Maybe just a little bit more. And look at how easy it is to add just a little bit more. No retaping, no realigning, no making registration marks. And anybody's stencils will work. They have adapters that you buy that you can take on and off your stencils, and they have, the adapters have the little holes in them. You can use anybody's stencils with this. Okay, now we're gonna be brave. I think I'm gonna wipe this down because I'm not gonna go purple. Cleans up your stencil super easy. My ink doesn't stain the stencil. Super easy. think that's good. Let's put back our Plum Crazy and let's grab our orange pop. And you're like, orange? I don't know. Right? I don't know. Or blue? Orange? Blue? I don't know. Blue jay maybe? Oh, decisions. I want it to pop. I thought maybe orange. But now I'm thinking blue. Well, I'm going to go with orange. And no, I hear you all saying go blue. I can hear you say blue. I really can hear you say blue. And I'm going to go intense. Hear you all saying blue, blue, blue. I just want something totally contrasting with what I've got. Get all those little hearts in there. And this is all on top of a 3D embossing folder, an existing 3D embossing folder. So you may already have this heart embossing folder, and now you have the opportunity to have the stencil so that you can color it perfectly every time. I'm either going to be Wahoo Kachoo or Holy Smokes Artichokes, what did I do? Sometimes you just go wrong. But I heard some of you yelling, blue, go blue. Oh, it's cute. Okay, I'm not angry at this. The blue kind of helps pop. Look at how cute it is, and it's on top. On top of that 3D embossing folder. How cute is that, right? So whether you just do the stencil, it's a little, it's beautiful but flat, but the minute you add that 3D embossing to it, all of a sudden your hearts are popping up and you've got texture to them. So much prettier. Well, it gives a different look. I suppose that's what it is. It's a different look. Same thing, really beautiful. It's flat, it's easy, but the minute you start adding that 3D embossing folder and adding that pop of dimension and that texture that is, you feel it when you give somebody, when they take the card and they feel the dimension, it's just wonderful. So you choose. This is the brand new one, brand new, but then there are three existing embossing folders that now have 3 new stencils to go with them. We have the I Want It All on the entire set. So, and then you can go in and pick up whichever ones you love. If you have all the embossing folders, I suggest getting the stencils. If you're a stencil person, grab the stencils. If you're an embossing person and you're not crazy about the stencils, it's whatever makes your heart happy. Or maybe you are just joining me for a fun-filled couple of hours so that you can pick up some tips and tricks and techniques that you can use in your crafting today. All right, what are we gonna do? I think we're gonna take it to another level is what I think we're gonna do. And I think for that, I'm not going to need this. So I'm gonna store this away for right now. And I'm gonna bring out just some white paper and my inks and embossing powder. And you're like, well, you know, before I get to the embossing powder, let me just show you what the inks, when people say they're water soluble or they're water reactive, one, that means that I will be able to palette paint with them. I can push them down, add some ink, grab my paintbrush, and I can go in and palette paint with them. I also can take and let's just ink up. See, again, if this was like the hard foam, if I put it down, there'd be that full shape. That ink would be saturated in there right away. I like my option of a felt pad. The way I choose the saturation that I want, whether it's full saturation or not. All right, so I've got some ink there. And because it's a felt pad, you don't have to worry. You've got plenty of room to hold on to it. The foam pads can be a little tricky with a little less space on the pigment, but on the felt pads, because you're not pushing down to get the ink, because it's on a felt, the foam pads you have to push down to really get them going. The felt, the ink stays right there. So not so many inky fingers. Now if I take that, do I want to do another one? That color. See, it's blue here, but when you put it with the red, it almost has a purple hue to it. It's crazy. The color goes to whatever you're using. Admiral Blue, love it. Makes my heart happy. Now, if I take some water and I want to do, get some big drops. So you can already see that it's starting to react with the water. I can speed that process up, but I can let it just sit and dry, or I can speed that process up a little bit if I want. Take my heat tool. And you can see that it started, all the little spray areas have started to react with water. I can continue to add water. Until I say I'm done. And the more water I add, the more it will react. And it's starting to lighten that color. And I can let it sit and it'll pull that color up. I can add some more and it'll pull more of that color up. It's really up to you how much you want to add. And if you want to let it dry on its own, or you want to kind of move it around. So when ink says water reactive, it means it will start to have drips and drops and all sorts of texture to it. And again, the more I add, the more the ink, or the less ink. I have this very saturated. Let's do this side. I could have chosen to use less ink because I have that felt pad and it doesn't just sit on top and absorb right in. But I did have to wash it back and forth a few times to get enough ink to where I wanted it. There's not one that's better than the other. They're just different. And again, can you see that it's starting to react with the water? The color is starting to lighten and fade. And if I want, I can just let it, look at how, I mean, this looks great. That looks really good. I could just let it sit. I could give a kind of an all over. And I can come in with my heat tool if I want. It's really up to you what you choose to do, but it absolutely reacts with water. I think those look so good. I think I'm gonna let this one just dry on its own and not use my heat tool. But I love the drips and the drabs of it all. So all of my inks are water reactive, which means we're going to be able to palette paint with them. We're going to be able to do our drips and our drabs and add some texture to the paper with just ink. But then there's something else that my inks will do, which is a little unusual. But again, I'm dealing with Jacquard, the master ink manufacturer. They really are amazing because they come from that fine art realm of possibilities. And I think I'll keep with my cranberry fizz maybe. I know I haven't used any yellow yet. Well, let's see yellow. And for this, I'm going to leave a little handhold. Love my yellow. It's happy, but has some warmth to it. Now, I've got it all inked up. Beautiful color, beautiful color. But I want to do embossing with embossing powder. And you're like, wait, this is a dye-based ink. I know, it's a water-reactive dye-based ink that will allow you to do heat embossing. I'm taking clear embossing powder right over the top. Just kind of let it walk on down. I didn't do this part up here. I can put this right back on and just kind of shimmy it around a little bit just to make sure that, oh, shimmy it right on off my, how about I shimmy it while I'm over the top of, I think I probably got enough going on. All right, so I've covered it with embossing powder. Clear, transparent, Sizzix embossing powder. That is your free gift should you buy all 12 ink pads. Comes with the I Want It All bundle. Now again, this is a dye-based ink, which dries quickly, but still gives you the opportunity to go in and emboss. I missed a few places. So you can see I need to go back in and heat emboss right on top of the ink. Have you ever seen Venetian plaster? Because that's what this looks like when it's done. It looks like Venetian plaster where you've got this saturation of color with this beautiful finish on top. This I haven't added my heat to yet, but I have taken a dye-based ink and I've embossed straight over the top of it. Oh, it's a game changer. It looks like Venetian plaster. It's so beautiful. The depth of color is so amazing. And then I can look at it. Oh, I can see. Can you see? I missed a whole area right there. Can you see that big old long line right there? I need to go back and heat that. And then once it cools down, it's dry. Embossing powder is just a plastic, a finely ground plastic, so fine that it only takes a heat tool, not a, I mean, you could, a paint stripper is awful, very, very hot. So this isn't going to melt with a blow dryer, but it's going to melt too fast with a heat stripper and you may burn your paper. Look at that. Is it beautiful? And it's done with a dye-based ink. But what if I wanted it to be even more polished? Can I do that? Yes. I can come back and grab my ink again. I'll do half of it and then I'll come back and do the other half because I want you to see. I'm just going to grab my ink and I'm going to add another layer of ink. I'm going to add another layer of embossing powder and I'm going to do a double emboss. So my embossing powder is only sticking to where I have added more ink. And you're like, wait, you didn't use Versamark? I didn't. I'm gonna put all my powder back into my jar because you use very little of embossing powder. Almost all of it every time. Of course, I just spilled it again. Almost all of it goes right back into the jar because you only use what sticks to the paper. Now let me go in and let me heat again so you'll be able to see the difference between 1 coat and 2, and I have not used a Versamark or an embossing medium. Oh, I should not get this much pleasure out of it, but I do. Oh my gosh. So water reactive, dye based, fast drying, able to emboss with it. It dices, it slices. My inks make my heart happy. Oh, can you see the difference? This one, just 1 coat. This one, 2. No Versamark, just ink. You can almost see the demarcation line right there. What do we think? Ooh. Okay, let me go back. I gotta finish this side. I gotta finish. So I need to just let this cool. It's not dry, it's cooling. Because it's a plastic, once it's cool, it doesn't move. You're not waiting for dry time. So let's add. And then let's add, oh, I'm so glad I grabbed the yellow. I love my yellow. I do. The color is just, it's so rich and jewel tony. Ah, Stacey. Okay. So it's only sticking again where I put my color. I think some of it's going to just be 1 coat because I didn't do all of that the first time. And let me put this right back on in. Even with what I've dropped, of course, I might be able to get that back in. Even with what I've dropped off the sides, I still have a full, okay. I still have a full container. Embossing powder goes a really, really long way. And yes, it can be affected by humidity, absolutely. Any kind of powder can be affected by different weather. So let's go in and let's heat. I'm just moving it up and down. I'm not doing this. This does not work. Why doesn't that work? Because you're adding heat, and if you're doing this, you're adding heat, taking it away, adding it, taking it away. You just need to stay in one position, and as you see the powder turn to, from a powder to a solid, once you see it turn to a solid, then you move on. But if it's just like taking a pot of boiling water, putting it on the stove, getting it to boil, and then taking it off the stove. What happens? It immediately stops boiling. Put it back on the stove, you bring it back to a boil. Take it off, it stops boiling. Every time you move the heat away from the powder before it has had a chance to turn into a solid, you're letting it start to cool down, and then you need to reheat it, and then you move your heat tool away and it starts to cool down, and then you put it back, and then you gotta reheat it. Just keep it in one place. And as you see it turn, you move your heat tool. You can understand why I wanted a place to hold. And I'm going to heat all of this, even though some of it's just one coat. Venetian plaster. See here? That was just one coat. You can see the difference. Remember, I didn't do that the first time. I stopped there. Look at the beautiful, oh. Okay, let's do another one really quick because I'm gonna let this completely cool. I want my paper to completely cool down. What color do we want? I don't know. We haven't done wasabi. Okay, wasabi. Add my color. I'm gonna leave a little handhold for me. I think that looks good. Wasabi, that's dark wasabi. Let's see what happens when I add my So one day you use it as a paint. My ink is an actual paint and you are palette painting with it. The next day you're spritzing it with water to make your fabulous little splats. Look at that, now that it's all dry. Oh. The next day you are embossing with it, with embossing powder. The next day you're just using it to stamp with, to stamp a sentiment. Okay, let's put this away. Carefully, Stacey. Yay, still have basically a full jar. And then let's heat and see what we get. So you can see it turning. There's no mistaking what hasn't been had enough heat to turn it from a powder to a solid. And you see how close I am to my paper? And with my Sizzix heat tool, I am not burning my paper, and I am sitting right on top of it. Okay, one coat. Let's give it a second to cool. Once it's cooled, if you touch it while it's hot, you're gonna take the plastic up with you. Let's add some more ink. One coat, I'll do half and then half. Just seeing where my demarcation line is. Make sure I go up high enough that I get it all. Put this back in. Emboss. And my first coat of embossing powder is melting into my second coat. Oh, and it looks like I missed a spot. Looks like I missed a spot. Either that or I stayed there too long. Well, it looks like I might have scorched that right there. Do you see that? So I might have stayed there just a little bit too long. But you can see the difference between this and that. Let's go back. I'm going to let it dry. Well, not dry, cool. And let's go back and see if we can fix that. So a little more ink because looks like I might have scorched it. We'll see if the embossing powder will stick. All right, all we can do is try. Yay! Beautiful difference. 1, 2. Amazing difference. And do you see what I mean by the Venetian plaster where you've got these depths of color? You've got some a little bit lighter, some a little bit darker, almost like a suede. But we're not done yet. I'm gonna do this just so we can finish. Man, I could do this all day long. following as it turns. Okay. Okay, so we're good to go. Beautiful, beautiful, really dark green. Wasabi can be anything from as light as wasabi can be as soft and as light as just a very soft, beautiful leafy green. A little darker. You make it the saturation you want it to be. All of that is wasabi. Okay, now let's play with now that we've got the embossing done, now let's emboss. You're like, wait, we just did embossing. I know, we did heat embossing. Now, what if we take them and we put them inside our embossing folders? Bring over our machine again. Send it on through. Oh, nope, chomp, chomp, chomp. Chomp, chomp, chomp. And let's see what we get. Is that gorgeous? I mean, that's gorgeous. It doesn't look like paper anymore. It's amazing. That's really because it's not paper anymore. We've got paper as a base, but because we added embossing powder, we have taken it from a porous paper to a non-porous, almost sheet of plastic over the top of it. Oh, baby, that's what I like. Should we do the wasabi too? Should we do it in a different embossing folder? Maybe I'll get a different one. Oh, let's try this one. So the key to doing this is that your paper has to be completely cooled. Completely cooled. If it's even a little bit warm, because of the pressure from the embossing folder and the die cutting machine, you have a chance for what now is basically acrylic plastic to kind of cling in and hold into it. We'll see. I think I've left this one cool long enough, but time will tell. And if I didn't, well, then it's a really good opportunity for me to show you what happens. So my inks are by Jacquard. Do you have to have them? Absolutely not. If you have plenty of inks, stick with what you got until you need something new and you want to try something. If you don't have inks, or you like all the properties we've put into these inks, that's why you buy them. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I don't know. This is just beautiful. I see so it looks like tile. I bet you could put this on top of a piece of tile, adhere it, and then seal it and make a coaster out of it. This just is beautiful. And I did it only with ink. And can you see the different colors? And the shine? Sizzix embossing folders, 3D embossing folders. Stacey Park Premium Dye-Based Inks by Jacquard. That's what we've used today. This reminds me of my kitchen, my mother's kitchen when I was a child. I see the 70s right here. Maybe that's why I like it so much. I swear this was our carpet and our refrigerator. We had shag carpet in this color, and I swear we had this color refrigerator. I'm positive. So, ladies and gents, this is the launch of Stacey Park Jacquard dye-based inks, 12 colors with options like crazy. Remember where we started. All the way back here when all we did was use the embossing folders by themselves. I just did 2 of them. Then I inked them. Both sides, so you could choose which side you liked and tape down the other, but always ink both sides. And yes, my inks will do this for you. Easy peasy. And then we stenciled with my inks. With the layering stencil and the stencil and stamp tool, and you saw how you can lift it up, a stencil up, see what you've done, put it right back down. You don't have to realign anything. That stencil and stamp tool, that alignment tool is genius. And yes, you can use anybody's stencils with them. You just get the adapters. And with the set that we have, it comes with a pack of adapters. So you get a set to start with. Then we embossed and we stenciled so that you get the best of both worlds. You've got that deep embossing and that beautiful feel and that texture all mixed in with the stencil that coordinates right on top. And then we went and we saw that the inks are water reactive. You are able to palette paint with them, which I'll be doing tons of stuff now that I have my own inks. Absolutely. Spritz some water on them and make droplets and make your own backgrounds. That's really pretty. Even with the white. I think I'm going to save this for something 4th of July. That's beautiful. Oh my gosh. And then we went a little crazy. We did. We took my inks. We inked up a piece of paper. We threw down embossing powder. We added our heat, had that embossing powder change from a powder to a solid. We did it twice, so we had a double heat embossing. And then once they were completely cool, totally cool, give them a few minutes to completely cool down. We stuck them in one of the embossing folders, 3D embossing folders by Sizzix, and we made magic. Who would ever think that this is a piece of white, inexpensive cardstock? Oh no. Oh my gosh. Fold it, do it, tea light it. There's so many things you can do with this. They're just beautiful. mat your picture in here. It is elegant. It is sophisticated. It is, oh, it's grown up. It's taking embossing to a whole different level. I think it's so pretty. I hope you agree. I really do. So we did a lot today. We really did. And I hope that you found this time well spent with me. Saturday mornings, well, all my videos are commercial free, technique based, really meant to inspire you to try and see. And let me show you before you go spend your hard-earned cash on it and then decide you don't like it. And yes, I am very excited to be a licensed designer for Jacquard. Truly I am. And you will be seeing my Jacquard inks at your independent retailers. You'll be seeing them online and of course here at Scrapbooking Made Simple. Now, what do we have for you today? Well, we do have the first 12 colors, and they are the first 12. There are more coming. And I would really, really, really like to have, there's a few things I really want to have from Jacquard that I just want my own palette of colors. And I can't wait until that happens. We're starting slow. I think 12 colors is a good start. You've got everything for, I think you've got your basics covered here. And then we expand off of these 12 colors. And if you do the I Want It All, then I've included the Sizzix embossing powder for you. That is with the ink pad set. So that's one of the items we have for you. Then of course we have all the re-inkers, all of them. They do not come with the Sizzix embossing powder because you need the ink pad really to make it work. But I've got all 12 colors here for you and they're all on sale. We couldn't do an ink pad without having a re-inker at the same time. I said I wouldn't do it. I said, if we're gonna do an ink pad, you have to offer the re-inker at the same time. And Asher and his team said, of course we will. They all said yes. I'm like, oh, good. I was afraid I might have to fight for that, but I didn't. Then, so I've got the bundle here. I've got the bundle here. That comes with the Sizzix here. I've got the Sizzix I Want It All bundle, which has all the embossing folders and all the stencils. But if you already have them, we also have it open stock. This is the new set for 2024. This one's brand new. The embossing folder is existing, the stencil is new, and they coordinate together. The embossing folder is existing, the stencil is new, and they coordinate together. We use the hearts today, so flippin' cute, and they coordinate together. And then we used the stencil and stamp tool. So the stencil and stamp tool, the bundle we have retails for $65.98. We have it for $48.99. It comes with everything that I did today, a sheet of sticky grid. It comes with a pack of adapters so you can use everybody else's stencils. Go back to YouTube number 534, I believe, and that's when I use this and show you how to do it. It doesn't qualify for the $50 free shipping. This ships for $5.95. So if you order this stencil for, I don't know, $10, you're gonna pay $8.95 for shipping, even if you order the platform. The platform is being drop shipped and drop shipping has begun. So those of you who ordered it the first time round, Ellison Sizzix is back open. They moved warehouses, they moved their offices. They had a big deal to go through, but they are back open and they have begun shipping. So this is $5.95 to ship all by itself. But if you were to get the Jacquard bundle, the Stacey Park Jacquard bundle, and this, then because this is over $50, your shipping is just $5.95. So you have to think about it. Everything, this is $5.95 all on its own. And do you have enough other stuff that total $50 or more to get free shipping? That's kind of how you have to look at it. So I've got an amazing value on this. Truly, I do. And then we have the sticky grid. If you want to buy more sticky grid, because it comes with one sheet. One sheet's going to last you a while, but eventually you'll need more. And if you want more adapters. So that's all part of the YouTube Yummies for this week. Now samples, let's get to samples, shall we? Now a lot of these samples were made by sweet, fabulous ladies who are working with Sizzix to help make samples, because I'm going to 4 YouTubes a week. And so my SMS girls are doing some and they're doing others. Isn't this darling? And this one was done by Tanya Brooks. Hey, Tanya, hey, I love it. This was done with one of the new stencils. Love it. Here we've got the stencil and the embossing folder. Love it. Oh, and this was by Kelly. Hello, Kelly. Love it. So pretty. The colors are beautiful. And again, when you pick it up and you feel it and you feel that texture, it's like, ooh, this is very rich. I mean, who does embossing like that? You do. You do. Hello. And look at this. This one's also by Tanya. Isn't that beautiful? Aren't the colors just lovely? And again, this is done with the embossing. So pretty. All of the samples that have been sent to us, I am so thankful to all of those of you who are working on these on behalf of Scrapbooking Made Simple. Going to 4 classes a week. This one's by Kelly. Going to 4 classes a week. Oh, it's a lot. My poor girls are making samples but they also have to help customers fill orders, answer the phone, run credit cards. We're a retail store. We behave like, oh. Is it Milla? I can't read her name. I'm just going to have to ask my lovely stars. Gosh, does it go this way or that way? My goodness, taking that embossing folder and making it into a poinsettia, that's stunning. And I want to say it's Milla. Oh, look at this one. Love the color. This is done with the hearts. And look at, they went in with neons. Yeah, that is rad. No doubt. For sure. Oh my God. That was my childhood. Like totally. But I don't know who made it. Oh man, I want to give you credit. I like totally, oh, I love it. I like totally love you. I like totally. Okay, that made my heart so happy. But you have to put your name on the back so I can give you credit. Stay wild. Look at how stunning is this. There's the embossing folder and the stencil. Holy smokes, artichokes. Again, no name. I will always love you. Oh, look it. And I wonder if she used Tim Holtz doodles, or she used the stencil that we have for you today. But I wonder if these are either Pete Hughes or Tim Holtz doodles. Aren't they beautiful? They're beautiful. They're beautiful, but who are you? I want to give you credit. You worked so hard on these and they're so lovely. Look at the cute little tag. Does it open? It does. Hello, Tanya. Go ahead, say with me. You can find all of these girls on Instagram. This is Tanya Brooks Design, and it's Tanya Brooks 2 is her Instagram. And here we have Tanya again. Go give them some love on Instagram. They have helped me so tremendously, and it is so appreciated. Here you have the stencil right in the center. And is it Mila? Maybe it's Mila. It's beautiful. Forgive me that I can't pronounce. I'll ask. I'll get it. I promise. I will figure it out. Does she have her? Nope, she doesn't have her Instagram or anything on there, so I can't point you in a direction. Hello, friend. I think maybe it's Mila. Beautiful, isn't it? And look at this thank you. So see, did not use all the stencil, left negative space so effectively. Yep, Mila again. Mila, you're gonna forgive me. Just call the shop and let me know. Just say, hey, Stacey, this is Kelly. Kelly Kelly Kenningham? Is that it, Kenningham? Look at the colors, aren't they fun? So this is stenciled and embossed. So you've got that wonderful texture to it. Thank you. Well, I would say thank you if I had a name on the back, but it's fabulous. Love the thank you. This one has luster wax added to it. Have a wonderful day. Kelly Kenningham. I'm going to call it a Kelly. Is that right? Wonderful job, Kelly. Beautiful. Look at how beautiful that is. It's a good day to be happy. Yes, it is. And this is Tanya Brooks' design. Yes, it is a good day to be happy. And I love the pinks and the oranges. Maybe I should have stuck to my guns and gone with the orange. Happy birthday. And here again with the embossing folder, but only using so much of the stencil, not doing every single layer. In fact, this looks like layer 4 because it has the little ones. That's Kelly again. And then this one's so clever. Hello, clever. So you've got the stencil, beautiful stencil and it has the matching embossing folder, but then pop out and there's your sentiment. And then pop it back in and it stays there. And then pop it back out and there's your sentiment. And then pop it back in. You get the point, right? But I could do that all day long. It's like interactive surprise. And again here, look at how pretty is this. Happy birthday. How simple is that? Just using the stencil for one pop of color. Beautiful. And then super cute. Using the stencil and then doing some florals to go with it. All right, you guys. It is me, Stacey, Scrapbooking Made Simple, scrapbookingmadesimple.com. Also, licensed designer for Jacquard and for Sizzix. And while today didn't have any of my Sizzix yet, stay tuned. January 23rd, Tuesday, our first Take Two Tuesday event where I give you an overview of the program and I show you my whole collection. And then on January 30th, we do our first make. You're gonna love it. And then at the time, January 30th, you will be able to find my products at your retailers for pre-order, online for pre-order, and March 1st is launch date. So that's when everybody will start shipping, somewhere right around March 1st, or you can walk into their store and pick it up around March 1st, at least March 1st. It has to be March 1st, maybe a few days after. So it is me, Stacey, Scrapbooking Made Simple, scrapbookingmadesimple.com. I hope you got some inspiration today. I hope you went, ooh, I didn't know you could do that. I hope you thought, wow, this was time well spent. Because for me, It is time well spent. I get a few hours every week to sit and craft with you. I'm drinking my coffee, we're chit-chatting, we're enjoying each other's company, and we are making a community. Can't ask for better than that. All right, I will see you next Saturday from Tuesday I'm still here. Monday I'm here for Make It Monday. I'm here for that. Tuesday I'm here for our first Take Two Tuesday. Thursday I will be on a plane, but our New For You Thursday event goes forward. And then Saturday I will see you from Germany when we live chat during the YouTube. Can't live chat for too long. I've got a thing. I've got a thing that I have to go to, but I will be there for a little while. And stay tuned to Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. I will be doing reels from Germany, not just on me. I'll be showing James, my son, demoing in a booth for the first time with his own brand of product for couture creations. Swoon. All right, you guys, thanks so much for being here today. I'm Stacey, Scrapbooking Made Simple, scrapbookingmadesimple.com. Bye.